Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor. Lesson is going to be entitled Esau Plays Victim Before He Attacks. And, you know, we've seen that example with the Gadites, all right, and also with the kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know, in order for him to justify what he was doing to Gad, which are the Native Americans, and to the so-called Negroes, he had to demonize them. Okay, he had to say that they were savages. You know, they didn't have a culture. You know, that he was in threat of danger. You know, so it's a mix of making those people insignificant or basically dehumanizing them, right, to the point where they're not even really human, right, or that they're a threat, right, usually a mix of both, okay, which is the same thing he did to those Aborigines, all right. So this devil, that's what he does as a justification to use the sword, because when you use the sword, there needs to be a justification why you're using the sword, right? Or people are going to look at you as the villain or as the person in the wrong. So if you can find a reason, a viable reason to why you're using the sword, then you're no longer the villain, but you're actually the victim / hero. So this is what these devils are doing. Okay, and even now, you know, and this is a land back off of the elder Rachalia Kwam's video dealing with you know, that agent. I told you about that agent already, man. Myron Gaines, that dude was an agent, right? He used to work for the FBI, and clearly he's a plant, in my opinion. You know, that's why he has this red pill rage type way about him. You know, he's screaming, he's going all crazy, you know, unnecessarily, you know, showing you that, you know, these people that believe in this ideology, this is what they're trying to show, that the people that believe in this ideology, they're unhinged. You know, they also lean towards Edomite supremacy, because all those guys that are in the so-called manosphere, they have those Edomite supremacist alt-right views, right? Including Andrew Tate, right? Who he's actually a Jake. He's actually an Israelite. His father's a Jake, right? But you know, he's juiced in. That's why he was always doing that. Every time he got arrested, he did the Vesica Pisces symbol. He's always doing that symbol, right? Which the Rastafarians do that symbol, and that's that's called a Vesica Pisces, which really represents the vagina. Okay, but you know, there's a reason why he's doing that. So these guys are juiced in, and another guy that I can think of, Sneeko, that's another individual, you know, who pushes that you blacks are like animals, and you know, he says things like that just out of nowhere, you know. And I heard he was Amalek, but you know, I don't know. But all I know is these people are juiced in, and these people are control opposition rather, and you know, he has those viewpoints too, because their thing is listen, we're all about facts over feelings. It's all about facts, but the deception behind it is they're about facts until it comes up against the Edomites, until it goes against the agenda of Esau Edom. You know, that's when they're no longer about facts. That's when they're no longer truthers, right? Because you can't, they will never break down the systemic racism. They'll never break down the things that Esau does against Jake, or have been doing against Jake, that affect Jake to this day. They'll never break something down like that, because that goes against their agenda. So they're truthers up until that point, which makes them a bunch of hypocrites. Okay? See, we deal with truth all around the board. Okay? When it comes to our people, when they're doing wickedness, we'll say it. We'll tell you they're wicked. They're being wicked. We'll say it. We'll say it in a heartbeat that they need to be done away with. The majority of them. Okay. We're only concerned about the elect, right? But we also go into the fact that these Edomites are the wickedest people that have ever been on the planet Earth, and that they've set up a system for Jake to be in this animalistic state. See, Esau will never touch on that. And if their facts come out about that, they'll dismiss it. These guys that they have set up, including Myron, right? So they dismiss certain facts because it goes against the agenda, right? So that's the type of talking points that they come with, because that's what they're set up to do. They're set up to tie that Edomite supremacy, those Edomite supremacist types to the manosphere types. Okay, it's categorization ultimately. The scriptures speak about the accuser of the brethren. Esau's always categorizing things. He's always putting things in a box. If you think this way, you have to be right wing. If you think this way, you have to be left wing. He's using psychological operations to basically make these people think a certain way. If you think this way, then that means that you believe in the Republicans. You're far right. If you believe this way, oh, you're left. You're far left. And there's no compromise there. There's no in between. There's no I agree with this, but I don't agree with that for the most part. Okay? So, these are all psyops. So, as these devils, what they're doing now is they're making it fact that you Negroes are just violent by nature, and it's because you have a low IQ and you're really very beast-like, and there's really nothing to do with you except for take you out. And that's what this whole Carmelo Anthony thing is all about too. See, there's people get killed every day, B. All right? People get shot every day, B. All right? These things happen all the time, these type of stories. You can find countless of stories like that within Babylon the Great, especially America. That's the valley of the shadow of death. That place is full of death. That happens all the time, right? There's multiple school shootings, every month. I mean, it's a crazy place. So they're blowing this particular situation out of proportion because they pick and choose what you people get outraged behind. Both you so-called black people and you so-called white people. They pick and choose what to blow up and to sensationalize, right? To use for their agenda. Because they're not with these regular Edomites either. These elites, these top Amalekites, they're not with these regular Edomites. Okay? They're going to use you to cancel out these Jakes, which they also hate. Right? So they're rousing these Edomites up, to come up against Jake. They're rousing these Edomites up. That's what they're doing. And it's easy to rouse up these Edomites because Edom is a violent man. Esau is violent by nature. The scriptures say that the blessing that Isaac gave Esau was that he would live by the sword. So Esau is violent by nature. So it's not hard to get the violent man to do violence. You set up a little propaganda here, a little propaganda there, and before you know it, it's like what was going on in England, in UK. You had those Edomites running around, attacking immigrants and people that have, basically people who have brown melanin in their skin. That's what they were doing. And it was easy. And, this Arab, he stabbed up a few little girls and blah, 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 blah. That's all it took. And the same thing they're doing in Ireland. There's a similar case like that. Like, I don't know. Hey, man, Ishmael is wild. Ishmael is bugged out. Ishmael is wild. But I mean, come on, man. They ain't just going. I have a lot of Ishmaelites out here where we live. They're just not going around to preschool to look to stab up little children. That's just not what normal human beings do, especially when there's law and order. Okay? So, what's that all about? They're rousing these Edomites up. They're trying to get these Edomites to be violent, which is what? Which is really their nature. Okay? But you got some of these people that look like Edomites that are actually Israelites, and that's going to take, that, you know, they're not as violent as Esau, but through the influence of the Edomites that they're around, you know, they can get violent too, right? But the point is, they're not going to target Jake. It's going to be harder for them to target Jake to get violent towards Esau than it is to target Esau to get violent towards Jake. Because Jake doesn't really want to get violent towards Esau. Jake is not really violent towards Esau by nature. He's not violent by nature like that, right? Yeah, they'll do evil to their own. That's based upon the curses. But especially towards these other nations, Jake is not violent like that. Okay? So that's going to be more of a task to get Jake to get violent than it is to get these Edomites violent. It's easier. Okay? This is why they're going so hard against Esau. You know, but they're working psyops on Jake too. You know, different events that happen, they blow up and things like that. Which is usually, you know, the psyops that they give Jake, the things that they give Jake to get mad about is usually a bunch of BS. You know, like George Floyd. That was some nonsense. That guy was clearly on drugs. Clearly he's a lowlife, and they have a statue built to this guy. So this represents the black community. You see, so this devil, you know, he knows what he's doing, you know. But the point is this, is that he's setting it up where you Jakes are the problem. You Jakes are, you know, are violent. You Jakes are beast-like, and we have to protect ourselves against you Jakes. And these average Edomites, they're going to get ready to go in too, right? Yeah, the elites are going to attack you Jakes and get you Jakes, and then they're going to be cheering them on. But I'm talking about the military and these different forces. But and eventually they're gonna also turn on these Edomites too. So these Edomites think, yeah, good, get him. But it's gonna turn on you too, right? It's gonna turn on your own head as well, right? But you know, these Edomites are gonna get these regular Edomites are gonna get roused up, and these the military or whatever forces Esau has, you know, ready, gonna go up against you Jakes heavy too. Okay? Hey, hence is the time of Jacob's trouble. We're coming to the time of Jacob's trouble. That's not a light thing. The scriptures say that it's a time like has never been before. Right? And you Jakes are playing games, doing doing TikToks, you know, not being serious and not knowing what the hell is going on, right? While Esau's, his mentality is, hey man, something's gonna have to be done soon about you. These people. That's Esau's mindset. Right? And you're gonna see, man, you're gonna see what kind of devil we've been trying to warn you about all these years, man. You're gonna see what kind of devil we've been trying to warn you about. This is Cain, man. This is Cain. All right? The first recorded murderer, man. That spirit is in these Edomites. And they're going to let that spirit completely loose in the times that we're coming into, man. All right? And they're going to justify themselves in their own heart by playing the victim. Right? But even that is being revealed. Even all these things are getting ready to be revealed as well, that Esau is really the villain. And that's only going to further infuriate these devils. All right? So keep your eyes open, man. Keep your eyes open. Right? The victim villain is getting ready to make some moves, man. So Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shalom.